So the top bolt on the shock is a 16 millimeter, the nut, and then it's got a thread, it's got a 5/8 here as well, or 16 millimeter. And it was all kind of swollen with rust. We had to really work the wrenches to get them on, spray and penetrating oil. And we cracked it loose, and we'll show you what we did. But down here, we're going to take this bottom one off, which is 2 18 millimeters, and take a little pressure off of this. It's like it's going to. All right, it barely dropped. Okay, I'm good with that. And of course, we're going to never seize everything when we put this all back in for the new shocks and stuff. So now I've got the weight off of the shock here, and we're just going to twist this thing off. This is a slow process. I can't really get a gear wrench in here. There's no swing. We really have to work this wrench up and down to get the rust off of it, to get it to crack loose. And you can't get at it. If you look up on the top here, you've got a plastic cover underneath here that you can't get a long extension with the socket on from the top side. So we're basically just got to wrench this thing, and we're holding the wrench so it hits the metal right here, and making sure we keep it on square. We don't want anything to strip, and we have it coming loose. And basically we're going to just wrench this whole thing off. Unfortunately, the way it's going to go, there's a lot of plastic on this vehicle here. I'm not getting a torch in here to try and heat anything up. We're just gonna take our time doing it. Now, of course, when we get the new shocks, we'll never seize them, and it's gonna go together really quick. But this part of the process is slow. So, you know, make time to do that, and really make sure you get the wrench on the top nice and crisp and tight. And we use 2 16 millimeters, and I really have to work that down to get the rust off. And when we got it to crack loose, if you strip that, and you got to get in here with a torch, there's too much plastic around here. So, and there's really no room to really cut anything here to get a Sawzall in. So you're wrenching this thing off. So we soaked it with penetrating oil, and we're going to keep wrenching this until we get it off, and we'll come back to you after we have it off. We're going to take this front shock off here, and we're also going to remove the other side front shock. We're getting it now, and see if we can unthread the shock here. There it comes.
There you go.
Alright, so we got one out. We're going to use the same procedure on the other side, and it looks like this has a bushing that is, okay, so it's got the 2-piece, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know if it was a 1-piece like the Fords. Let me just drop that piece. Yeah, here's the other piece. Alright, so we got everything out, and it's just slow going. You know, these shocks are used up, so we're not saving them. If you have new shocks on, they'd be a lot easier to come off than this. So we're going to do the same procedure on the other side. If we run into anything different with access, we'll let you know. Okay, so we got our new shock. Now they came with 2 different rubbers here. So the rubber's just got this one with the groove. This is going to be on the bottom with the washer right here, and then this will sit on the top with the other washer and the nut. So wiggle this thing in here. I'm sure Tony wants the rough country sticking out. Alright, so we got that in the hole. I'm going to try and thread it as far as I can with the shock like this until the piston starts spinning. Like right now, it's about as far as I can go with it. Now I'm going to have to wrench the rest of this thing, and it looks like a 9/16 wrench. So we're going to wrench that. You should be able to get a gear wrench in here and snug this down. Bottom it out. I centered my boot there, so that's good. Okay, we're going to tighten our 18 up here. And turn the wheel. Okay, that was tight. We can go do the other one. Yeah, come in from over here. And on the washer on the top, Tony can see this. As we tighten the nut up, the 9/16 nut, you just want the rubber to be about the same when you're squishing it down, just about the same size as the silver washer underneath. And it doesn't have to be completely cranked down on it. So we kept the same distance on each stud, which the thread that's sticking up above the nut is probably 5/8 of an inch, and that's kind of where we felt we were good with. All right, so we're gonna take the rear shocks off. So we got two 18 millimeters here, and then on the top we got two 16 millimeters, and it's really nice. The nut is welded to the top up here, which is great. So we crack one loose already. We should be able to get a short extension up here with the impact and zip these things right off. So let's get going. And let's try and zip these top ones off now. We got one shock off. So we're gonna slip the rear shocks in, and we got our factory bolts that we're reusing. Of course, we never seized everything up. And let's see if we can get these holes to line up. I think I'm trying to thread one of my bolts in first. And then catch that on there. Yeah, that works. And then go up. Get my arms in here somehow. I think I'm gonna just get the extension. I got these two started. I'm gonna get the bolt on the bottom pushed in first. And got the shock in here now. Line that up. Let's get the nut on it. These are 18s on the bottom and 16 on the top. You want to try and center these if you can. See how they're moving around a little? Get them so that they're kind of in the center, so you're grabbing about the same amount of meat on both sides. Let's snug these up and take a look and see. Yeah, I'll put, there you go. And they're moving around a little bit. Okay. Probably doesn't matter, I just want them centered. Alright, so I tighten these 16s up. Never seized everything. Alright, bottoms are 18s. Okay. Alright, so we're going to pop the other shock in. That's pretty much rounds this thing up. We checked all our tire pressures and drove it down the road. It's nice and straight.